Broken road to 100K, but I walk it anyway.
Welcome back to the Broken Road to 100K. This is episode 4, where I review my 8th week in the challenge. On the program today, a quick reminder of the challenge goals, a look back at the objectives I set for myself last week, my results for the week, the overall progress of the challenge, and finally, my objectives for the upcoming week. For those who are new, the challenge is to grow 455 into 100K through trading. The math works with the power of 10% of compounding per week. This series, The Broken Road to 100K, is my trading journal. Now, why set myself such a crazy goal? Because I believe that the bigger the dream, the more effort, discipline, and seriousness it requires. And it's exactly these kind of dreams that push us to surpass ourselves. Why share it on YouTube? To increase my accountability. Every trade, every day, I know that if I mess up or do something stupid, I'll have to explain it here. And trust me, I don't like the idea of looking like a clown. Hopefully, this pressure will stop me from losing weeks of profits or even blowing an account in just one bad trade. And if I succeed, I hope my story can be a source of determination and inspiration for others who also want to become the best version of themselves. Last week, I set myself a few specific goals to keep my discipline. Let's see how I did. One of my goals was to take profit at the first support or resistance, instead of always trying to squeeze more out of the move. This week, I think I managed to do that pretty consistently. I also wanted to improve my risk to reward ratio. On my personal account, that worked out pretty well, but on the FTMO accounts, we'll talk about it a bit later because it didn't go so great. Another big focus for me was patience. I only entering on my A plus setups and not forcing trades. Overall, I feel I respected that. I didn't take many bad trades, and that's a clear improvement. And finally, mindset. My goal was to stay detached from the market and from the results and to focus on the process. For the most part, I think I did well, but at the start of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, when the Nasdaq dropped hard, I slept. I tried too hard to cash a reversal and land a big win, and that ended up costing me on the FTMO accounts. So, plus 22% for the week. I'm extremely happy with that result. I was already up 12%. And then on Friday morning, I managed to get in a long on Bitcoin ahead of Jerome Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium. I was hoping that his comments would push the market higher. And fortunately, that's exactly what happened. That move added another 10% to close out the week at 22%. Now let's take a look at the state of my three accounts. On the personal account, it was a very strong performance. I'm now at $1,205, starting from just 455, so I'm really happy with that progression. On the FTMO side, though, things were much tougher. Early in the week during the Nasdaq drop, I took on way too much risk, and it really hurt both the 100K and 200K accounts. At this point, it's going to be very hard to recover those losses. I still have open long positions on Bitcoin in both FTMO accounts that I didn't close on Friday, hoping the market would continue to push higher. My entries are good around 112K. But as of Saturday, Bitcoin has already started to correct down. So I'm not too sure if I'll be able to hold on to those profits. I might end up giving them back. Overall, I'm not very proud of how I managed the FTMO accounts this week. Let's break down the personal account in more detail. Up in the top left, you can see my average win is higher than my average loss. It's not amazing yet, but it's definitely an improvement. Once again, I finished the week with more winners than losers, even though I was only taking long trades while the market was actually dropping. My reasoning was that I was anticipating a bounce back to the upside, and overall, it worked out. Now for the FTMO 100K account, honestly, it was pretty disastrous. Way more losses than wins, nothing really positive. to highlight there. I didn't manage it well at all, and it's clear I need to rethink my approach for the FTMO accounts. And then the 200K account also took a big hit. Same story, it got slammed this week. Now let's take a look at the overall results so far. We're at week 8 of the challenge, and the personal account has grown from 455 to $1,200. That's a total progression of about 164%. On average, that's around 12.9% compounded growth per week, which is really solid. As you can see on the table, the growth has been mostly consistent with only one losing week out of 8. This steady compounding is exactly what I need to stay on track towards the 100K goal. At this pace, I'm projecting about 37 more weeks to reach the target as long as I can keep my discipline and continue managing risk properly. As I was saying about the FTMO accounts, you can see here that I don't have much margin left. Not only am I at risk of failing these evaluation, but considering that the target is plus 10% profit to pass them, it's going to be very difficult to get there from this point. That's why my focus will stay on the personal account, where the growth is steady and under control. For the FTMO accounts, maybe I'll just wait for really good swing opportunities to try and bring them back to life. So for next week, I'm keeping things simple with 2 clear objectives. First, keep a cool head at all times. I've had strong results with these first 8 weeks, but I know from past experience that this is often the point where I've lost focus. So the key is to stay calm, not get carried away, and just keep following the plan. Second, wait patiently for perfect swings on the FTMO accounts. No forced entries. If the setup isn't there, I don't trade. It's better to wait for quality opportunities than to chase the market. That wraps up my trading week. With the results I've had so far, I'm still fully motivated, and I'll keep putting in all the effort I can to reach my goal. I feel like I've got the right mindset, I'm in the right place, and I found my rhythm, so I'll keep going in that direction. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.